need a reality check. Ain't quite what I expect. Train wreck. I need a reality check. I need a reality check. Ain't quite what I expect.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. So, we are going to be watching the CBS Town Hall, Erika Kirk on it. And then afterwards, we're going to be doing some deep dives into Candace Owen's finances. And I found some things that might shock some people. So, let's get to it.
Breaking news out of Utah Valley University.
There's an emergency response there, flooded by law enforcement.
The conservative activist Charlie Kirk has died after being shot during an event.
The latest horrible example of what appears to be a rising tide of political violence.
In the past,
Can you hear me better?
we've seen assassinations and assassination
That's
attempts
a little
against
loud.
a Republican presidential
Okay,
candidate,
better.
Democratic legislators, and a conservative activist.
One moment Charlie was doing
It gets really quiet when I turn my head.
arguing
Look.
and debating on
You can't hear me.
campus, fighting
You're
for the gospel
thinking way too simple about this. You got to go deeper.
in front of a big crowd.
It's really
and then
creepy.
he
There's
blinked.
whispering as I turn my head.
He blinked
Oh, Jesus.
and saw his savior in paradise.
Even as he had all of these positions, many of them seen as controversial on different issues, he had a huge galaxy of support on America's right.
When you stop the conversation, when you stop the dialogue, this is what happens. When we lose the ability and the willingness to communicate, we get violence.
CBS News presents A Town Hall with Erika Kirk.
Well, when you also lack the ability to tell the truth, you also get violent as well. Like what's happening with Candace Owens and all the crazies.
Good evening. I'm Barry Weiss, editor-in-chief of CBS News, and I want to thank you so
That's-
much for joining us tonight.
Fast forward through the introduction.
Because it was an opportunity to be able to have a conversation that Charlie always enjoyed, being able to have dialogue on both sides so
Mhm.
people could really hear everything that's going on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for making the time. There's so many subjects I want to cover. I want to begin with the hours and days after your husband was murdered.
Yes.
You got up in his podcast studio where he broadcasted from for many hours every day.
Yeah.
And you said this. You said, "You have no idea what you have just unleashed." What did you mean by that?
Let me give you a little background of that day. We get home. The team goes to dinner. I'm laying in my daughter's bed and I can't sleep. It took me months to even walk into my bedroom.
Yeah,
I'm laying in my daughter's bed. I can't sleep. I grab my phone and I start typing out it. And those are my words. That morning, the team reached out to me and said, they think they got the guy. You should probably say thank you to the authorities and just make a statement. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they say, do you want to go live? Or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live. I have nothing to hide. We're fully transparent. What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was assassinated. He didn't die in a car accident. So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, that is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed. That is a revival that's unleashed. That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea. And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years. 31 years. And so, yes, you have no idea what has been unleashed. But I will promise until my last breath that I will let the Lord use me in ways that He only can to bring glory to Him and to the kingdom. And it has been unbelievably powerful. And it's just the beginning.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're pure evil. You're just fucking pure evil. That's what you say.
You're sick.
Close enough.
He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you.
God damn it,
I
I'm
pray.
tearing up now.
Because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us. My husband did something very simple. He talked to people. You're going to be murdered for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your ideas. And if you think it's okay to murder someone because you think they had it coming for them because they took the time to have people come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say or how they say it, that they should be murdered, and you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that, that is evil. Evil. Excuse me.
As you know, and as I know, one of the ideas that has gained a lot of traction among young people, especially in this country, Erika, is, and this leads them to this kind of justification, is the idea that words themselves are violence. And that brings us tonight to our first audience question. It comes from Angel Eduardo. Angel is a senior writer and editor for the civil libertarian group, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, and he writes passionately about issues of free speech. Angel.
Thank you, Barry. Excuse me. Hi, Erika, my condolences. A recent survey that we took after Charlie's assassination found that 90% of undergraduates believe to some extent that words can be violence. Another
Undergraduates, meaning that they were taught by pussy teachers. I mean, once you get out of the school system, you seem to get more and more conservative. You have to wonder why. Because maybe real life actually teaches you a lesson, and the people who are teaching you haven't lived in real life. When you're just in this bubble surrounded by other people who think like you and want to sit there and complain and complain and complain. Like, I actually know someone who became a teacher. She had to spend 1.5 years in community college to become a teacher. And she was known as a 304. So, yeah, real impressive. Seems to be really hard.
fire survey that we took earlier also found that 1/3 of surveyed students believe that using violence to stop disfavored speech can be acceptable, at least in rare cases. What's your response to those numbers? And what would you say to those students in particular?
Well, for the people who say that my husband might have incited violence, I know that was not your question, but I'm going to put a squash on it before anyone else can attach to that. My husband never incited violence. He never once said, go after them because they're saying XYZ and they deserve to die. My husband never once said that, and he never would. What did he say? Come to the front of the line. I'll put my mic down. Tell me why you believe that. Well, that's interesting. I never thought of that. But have you thought of this? People heckling, laughing at them. Stop. It took a lot of courage for them to come up here. Stop doing that. He gave them a microphone.
Yep.
He didn't take away a moment for them to speak back. He gave them a microphone. And what they do, they gave him a bullet in the neck. Totally different. But you have secular revolutionaries that want to come out and say, you can't say that, and I'm going to stop you from saying it. I'm going to. Why? You don't want to have a conversation. Something as simple as a conversation. And this is what is so fascinating to me. My husband knew that something as simple as having a conversation could change the world.
By the way, I'm not trying to do a Hassan thing by having my dog in here. She just kept going from the bedroom into here to check in on me, and so I figured that she just wanted to lay in here with me. So I brought the bed from the living room into my office and put it down for her. And she's just passed out, so she's all happy. She just wants to be here with me. But she has cancer too, so she doesn't feel good when she has to go to the bathroom. She likes to be around me because I let her out. Like, I'll get up at 3 in the morning, take my light, see if she wet the bed, and if she did, take her out, make sure she gets taken care of. And I change her bedding like every other day because of it. But I will never put her down. Hell no. Plus, I know she's not in pain. She has enough energy to run and chase the chickens. Bark, bark, bark at them. Sorry.
So simple. That is an ancient thing. Come and sit down and have coffee with me. Why do you believe what you believe? 80s and 90s, they were doing this in Congress, then going to have a Subway afterwards. Why don't we do that anymore?
I think Jared ruined that one. And then they went to Papa John's, and Papa John's got racist. You can't go anywhere anymore because it's either racist or there's pedos or whatever. It's just, yeah. But yeah, definitely, Jared ruined Subway for a lot of people, including Congress.
Instead, it's violence. Usually one-sided. I'm not going to go there. But you know what's so interesting about my husband's book, the last book he will ever write? It could have been about politics. It could have been about football. It could have been about anything. He was multidimensional. It literally says, stop in the name of God. Stop. Stop the violence. Stop the hate. Have a conversation. Stop. And what he knew in that book was not just so much stop that, take a minute to get off of your phone and realize that we are all human, operating on this broken planet, all sinful, no one's perfect, and we're not getting out of here alive. But what he knew in that book was the balancing factor of communication. You cannot communicate with someone if you're not at peace with yourself. So he went on campus talking to a kid. They're screaming at him, screaming. Does he scream back? Not once. He sits there. And you know what he's thinking? It's in that book. Maybe you need to take a few hours. Get off your phone. Go for a walk in nature. Go sit and have a coffee. Go and tell your mother you love her. Go do something that is beautiful and healing instead of trying to tear something down that you did not build. That's my thought on that.
We're going to talk about the book in a little bit, but I want to pick up on a theme that you've now hit on twice, which is the idea that the black squares that we all have in our pocket, our phones,
Yes.
that they are doing something to us collectively, that they are dehumanizing us. Later, we'll talk about the conspiracies that are spreading right now on those platforms about who killed your husband. What do you recommend to people sitting in this room? What are your practices to disconnect, to reconnect by disconnecting?
Well, like my husband, I took all of it off my phone.
All social media off your phone?
No, I don't have it on my phone. I have a team that helps run it. I really, everyone has an opinion about me. I could care less.
Sorry, I was muted. There is one video I remember. Charlie Kirk did get mad at someone at Politicon one time. And if I remember correctly, I think it actually had to do with his wife. But let's watch it just in case.
Okay, you're trying to attack me, which is ridiculous, like asking me what my salary is. Sure, I'll reveal it willingly.
You brought it up in context. I'm asking, why don't you live like a socialist?
Okay.
Go live like a
The point is
socialist.
larger. The point is larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a capitalist,
hey,
okay? I live what I believe.
No.
What do? I get charity every single year.
Hold on.
What's my salary? Less than his.
Charlie, take a
Come on,
seat.
Cenk, let's go.
Charlie,
What
take
are you doing?
Take a seat. Take a seat. All right, no. Take a seat. You're
So
gonna
he
take
did
a
yell
seat.
once.
You're gonna take a seat over here.
Oh my God.
What's my salary?
All right.
Ridiculous.
All right, behave, everyone. Jesus
Is
Christ.
that Hassan?
Okay.
I practice what I preach, Cenk.
Charlie.
You
Stop.
do not practice what you preach.
Charlie. All right, hold on. Last point. You don't.
Yeah.
Scandal over at.
Oh, no, that is. But yeah, I'll put this back over. Sorry. But yeah, so he has gotten pissed before, but it was at some dumbass asking questions. But I mean, again, you do have righteous.
Yeah, you're trying to
anger.
attack.
Someone's talking shit, and I mean, I think that's Hassan. Like, I think that was Hassan. I can't find out if it's Hassan or not, but it looks like Hassan. Like, full on. That looks like Hassan. Okay. Hassan Piker. Not sure why he would be interviewing Charlie Kirk or talking. I don't know, but there you go. But yeah, so that's an interesting one. I think that's one of the only times he ever blew up. But anyways.
You know what I care about? I care about what my daughter says about me and her running up into my arms and loving on me. That's what I care about.
One of the things that has happened over the 3 months since Charlie was murdered is that people have gone through the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of words he produced. He said more in 31 years than most people will say in a lifetime.
Yes.
And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay?
Yeah.
Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said. Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. Now, I realize that all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show.
Correct.
Okay, Julian, do me a favor. DM me on Discord. Because it won't even let me reply on Twitch until I verify my phone number, because my phone number is linked to another account that I can't get into. So I'm screwed. Like, yeah. Yay me. Alright, sorry.
But he did say those things. And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation. How do you square that with the statements I just read?
I would love for everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip of what he said. Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't care what religion you were. He
just cared
loved
if you were socialist.
excellence. He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked so hard to build Turning Point USA. The first statement you meant about guns and shooting, I have no idea the context of that, and I have no idea what he was, that whole, there's a lot more there than just that one little sentence. My husband is not to be deteriorated to 2 sentences. He's not. He is a thought leader, and he was brilliant of a man. So that's fine if you want to take words out of his mouth or out of context without the whole thing.
Yeah, hold up. I'm sorry. I got to look at that ring.
Perspective. But that's the problem. My husband is not to be deteriorated to 2 sentences. He's not. He is a thought leader, and he was brilliant of a man. So that's fine if you want to take words.
Damn. I'm just saying. And by the way, no shade whatsoever. I actually used to work in the diamond industry, and that is a nice ring. Just saying. That's a nice ring. That's custom.
Out of his mouth or out of context without the whole thing in perspective. But that's the problem.
Does it bother you that people are picking out those statements and drawing an entire picture of who he was?
Again, that's the problem. You're not having a conversation. You're having a 15-second clip on the internet to define your thought of who someone is instead of taking the time to educate yourself on truly who that person is, what they thought, because why? They challenged you to think a little different. Again, my husband was an amazing man. We're human. But I do not once, for 1 second, think he was anything else than exceptional.
Erika, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there. Erika.
Talk about being put on the spot. She almost glared at him. Bro, I don't think it's his fault. Even though he was asking a question about trans, like, I don't think it's his fault. But, yeah. I can understand that look. Just saying. Sometimes can't control things.
I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity, and I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that turning point.
He didn't say hang them. He said that in the day you would have been hung for treason. Like, that's it. Why do people misconstrue these things? They go and add in a word, take out a word. Like, it's literally, there's a transcript. Read it.
Point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So, in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
I appreciate your question. You know my heart. Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people? This is so much deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home, okay? This starts with family. This starts with a seed that grows and grows.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light.
Yep.
What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence. My husband is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame everyone else. We have to look in the mirror. When you become a father, when you become a mother, how are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go.
Yeah. All these scapegoat positions where it's like, oh no, you don't have to take responsibility for your own actions. Oh no, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. It's systemic racism. It's, I mean, just anything. Anything the left wants to bring up. Anything. Like, there's just, hey, maybe you screwed up. Learn from your action. The pathway to success is paved in failures. Like, it's not hard. It's really not hard. One of the biggest life lessons is to acknowledge when you messed up and you fix that so you don't do it again. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And then, seriously, just how hard is it for people just to take accountability for their own damn actions nowadays?
Go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent. So my call to action from that is, parents, step up. Do you want your kid to be a thought leader or an assassin? That's where we're at.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part. I'm not in control of other people.
Okay. Ahead, a father whose daughter was murdered in cold blood because of who she was. Welcome back to our CBS News Town Hall with Erika Kirk. Bob Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erika. Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there is no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death. Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism, hate against Jews, and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel. We know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left, including here in New York City, where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the intifada. What I want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial, anti-Zionism, and the normalizing of centuries-old conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club.
Yeah.
Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you. It sucks, doesn't it? Hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place? How could you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a conspiracy theory? I'm wrapped in, people say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time. It's sick, and it needs to stop. We are human. No one is perfect. No.
And you know what? I'll say right now, you don't even have to be a public figure to get conspiracy theories about your freaking family when shit happens. You don't. Like, my parents were murder-suicide. And I had one guy who decided that he wanted to walk around and tell everyone that he was the reason why my dad did what he did. And the reason why is because he apparently called the feds on my dad because he grew 420. My dad had a card. He was legal, and the sheriff came out twice a year to check. So he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. But it didn't stop him from running his mouth. So it will happen to normal people too. And it is sick. Trust me, it's sick. Like, you're grieving, you're trying to be able to breathe, sleep, just be normal again. Which takes a long time. And then these people just want to torture you. It truly is evil. And I've seen it firsthand. That's what sucks. That's what pisses me off about this entire thing.
Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. We are broken, sinful humans in need of a Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord. Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate. And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen, and I pray that that is something that we can somehow extinguish in this world. But we are living in enemy-occupied territory. And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot. You cannot.
Bob, do you want to ask a follow-up?
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Yeah, so we're all of our college campus and high school campuses, we have these conversations. And our students understand exactly.
You know how people can combat it? Use logic and reason. Stop coming up with bullshit theories that, like, take 18 hoops to jump through. Most of the time, the most common sense thing is the answer. I mean, humans are fairly basic. We're not going to come up with the most extreme version of something in order to figure it out. That's like, hey, I have to drive 3 miles this way, but I'm going to take 18 miles like this way. No, we don't do that. We figure out the easiest, most efficient way. So the idea of creating up these conspiracy theories, like the IDF and Egyptian planes and people wearing maroon shirts, like, are you kidding me? Are people just stupid now? Or does no one actually, like, does no one use their brain anymore? Does no one? It's just blowing my damn mind. I can't understand this anymore. Yes, Dad was right. Everyone suffers from rectal cranial disease.
Exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said. We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters.
I wonder if they're going to serve brisket at Shabbat dinner.
Who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth. And if you don't, there's a void and a vacuum. And so even though they're a small number, they get louder and louder. So we need to do our best, which we're doing our part. We're going to continue to do our part to make sure that the truth is always heard. We'll amplify it even more. And we're going to do the best we can, but we need the whole community. We need everyone in on that.
Bob, thank you so much. I want to talk about discernment.
Yes.
Okay, being able to separate truth from lying.
Sorry, she dropped her treat. What is it, Bullet? You okay, Mama? You okay, baby? Go to sleep, baby. I love you.
Reality from unreality. A 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, that are spreading right now online about the actual story behind.
And by the way, at this point in time, because I've actually seen a 30-06 at 200 yards hit a deer, and the deer jumped and ran 15 feet before it collapsed. So the idea that someone's head would get taken off is no. Especially when that guy did that one ballistics test and it was 20 meters, and maybe he misread it and thought it was 147 feet instead of 147 meters. If you do math, that's like about 500 feet. So when you see that sign that says stop sign ahead, that to the stop sign, that's how far we're talking about, dude. But he didn't do that. Anyways, from what I've seen, the only thing that I have question about is obviously the text messages, and I don't think the FBI faked them. I think they were concocted at an earlier time by Robinson and his boyfriend in order to not implicate the boyfriend. And yet no one has asked where Lance has gone. And I think that the FBI probably has him in protective custody until the trial happens, so that way nothing happens to him, because Lance is probably going to be one of our biggest witnesses. And yet no one seems to care where he is. No one. And his parents aren't saying he's missing, which tells me he's probably in protective custody. But everyone coming up with these conspiracy theories and all that BS, you're tainting a fucking jury pool. Like, I've literally sat in a jury. My husband has sat in, like, we've done jury duty. My husband did jury duty for a SA situation. And I mean, the stuff that they show you is insanely disgusting, apparently. I mean, he came home every day, cracked open a beer, and just had this stare into the abyss look on his face of, I never want to do this again. He was so disgusted. But this is what I'm saying. They're not going to release everything. Right now it's in discovery. You have both the prosecutor and the lawyer going through discovery and figuring out how they're going to sit there and deal with things. But I'm going to let you know right now, no prosecutor in their right goddamn mind is going to even attempt to take someone to trial unless they have enough evidence in order to possibly win. Because every time they lose, it goes against their record, and that's how they stop being a prosecutor. Prosecutors are voted in. So people who don't know this, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. You people are fucking stupid. You make everything up. You people are fucking stupid. Open a law book for once. How about that? Should have become a fucking lawyer. Even my mom said that. I didn't want to deal with stupid people. Didn't.
Find the reality. One, people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican. Or two, some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me, and you were Charlie's handler, and Israel killed Charlie.
Mossad agents don't look like they come from Norway. Just a heads up. Like, that would look more like a Mossad agent. Israelis don't look like this.
Right. Other people say that a number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon T-shirts, and this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that.
The maroon T-shirts, apparently no one seems to want to look into it, but, I think it was like a University of Utah. It was like U of U or whatever, but anyways, University of Utah in Salt Lake City, 40.7 miles north, and I did a previous stream about this. But, yeah, 40.7 miles north of UVU, and guess what their school colors are? It's red. And it's not this red, it's usually a darker red, closer to a maroon. And I've seen it vary. I've seen it be a maroon, and I've seen it be closer to this, where it's like a blood red. But it's a dark red. So, I mean, I'm sorry, is it far-fetched to think that a group of students came from another college in order to see Charlie Kirk have conversations and debates? Because that happens every debate.
That means they say that the rings on your fingers, which are
the rings,
my kids'
your
initials.
kids'
that's cute. Those are cute. Okay, so I'm going to break some stuff down. I did work in the jewelry industry as a photographer. And this is just a little side thing. This is just a little fun tangent. So these rings right here, the M and the G, kids' initials, those are probably worth about... Hold on a second. I keep getting an echo for me. Is there an echo still? Oh, no, cool. I don't hear myself anymore. That's great. So annoying. Anyways. Hopefully it still says no. Anyways. So that one and that one are probably about, those are real diamonds, and they are, and looking at about the size, 6,000, well, the gold actually. So now probably about 8,000 a piece. That ring, which I think is her engagement ring here, that looks like an actual diamond. That thing looks like it's about 8 carats put into an eternity band. But we'll see in a second if I am positive. But this this dude, woo! 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 Oh, Lord. Don't go swimming with that on. like, you're gonna sink real quick. That right there looks like a 20 carat or a little more, canary diamond. Not a citrine, but a canary diamond, which is worth a lot more. And it'd be put onto a platinum setting. This is custom number 1. And this is a high-end jeweler, too. I've only seen stuff like this when I worked for Joseph Gad. So something like this, I don't know, probably upwards of like 75, 80,000, or no, that's not it, no. Because I saw someone sell, I watched a guy sell a wedding ring off his wife's finger for 15,000, and it was like that thing. So that has to be close to at least $150,000 to $200,000. Maybe. On the low end, if he knows someone and had it built, and he knows Israel, he probably had it built. He probably could have had it built for around 80, 90. But that is a beautiful ring. I will say that. That's just beautiful.
Initials, my wedding band,
yeah.
Which are
my kids'
your
initials,
kids' initials.
my wedding band.
All right. So yeah, that right there, that is about a $15,000 engagement ring. And that looks like it's on either white, no, that size stone, you're gonna have to do platinum still. So that's set in platinum, but has some outer gold. That's set in platinum, just in general. I don't know what this is. I think she'll say. And I thought she was wearing Charlie's ring too. But I don't know. I thought for the longest time she'd been wearing Charlie's ring, his wedding band. I'm actually surprised that she doesn't have it like around her neck or whatever. But I guarantee she's like saving that band for like when her daughter gets married and your husband's gonna wear this. Oh. Anyway, sorry. I know, long tangent. Sorry.
The Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
Medal of Freedom, they symbolize some kind of secret plot. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking you.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips. Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this. Egyptian planes.
Egyptian
planes.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
I'm gonna shut my camera.
It's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing, we'll take a flight on that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trial pans out. And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I'd prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is it's fascinating to see how...
Egyptian
planes.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not.
Yeah.
I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing, we'll take a flight on that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trial pans out. And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I'd prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case, just how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial?
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yes, that's how mainstream they become. Okay,
Egyptian
psychotic,
planes.
yeah.
You want to talk about
that one?
Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those dates that they've.
But you even said you need to address
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one, only because, from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I am wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want?
Speaking of which, afterwards, we are going to go into depth on how much money she has been making off of this, how much money her podcast is making monthly, yearly, and we're going to even go into depth on the 990s on Blexit, which is the black exit from the Democratic Party. And I think some of the stuff will really surprise you. Really surprise you. And something that just came up yesterday or the day before. Another thing that will really surprise you.
Want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop.
Oh, shit.
That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Okay. The next question comes from a person who may be familiar to you, Erika, because Charlie interviewed him for his show last August. Rob Henderson, to you.
Thank you, Barry, and thank you, Erika. During that discussion with Charlie, neither of us knew that was going to be the last long-form interview he would ever conduct, because his life was cut short by the actions of a very disturbed young man. As someone who admired Charlie's ability to offer young people a productive and optimistic path, I wanted to ask, how should the conservative movement think about cultivating leaders and role models for young men, and how can it continue offering them a constructive alternative to the toxic currents Charlie so astutely criticized?
It's a great question. First of all, your interview was amazing. It's one of my favorite ones to look back on. Charlie connected with you very well. And I can always tell when he does on his show. I've always watched his show. And I could always tell because his questions and his engagement would shift. And he always loved that conversation with you. As the CEO of Turning Point USA, it is my responsibility to make sure that our youth is in good hands. Our chapter leaders are amazing. And there's some leaders within those groups you guys have not even seen or heard about yet, but you will one day, and you'll be blown away because they are amazing kids. We had 2 of them at our gala event this weekend, and they spoke in front of our donors. It was the first time I ever met them. Phenomenal kids. Not only are they smart, they have a heart. Not only do they have a heart, they can understand and see the Gen Z landscape in a way that we can't. And from a peer-to-peer communication level, they're phenomenal. So I personally, having a front row seat to the rising generation, the courageous generation, they're amazing. Yes, there are bad apples. Millennials, we got them too. So do the baby boomers. So does Gen X. No one's escaping the bad apples. It's just the batch. But it is our responsibility, my responsibility, our team's responsibility to make sure that our chapters are cultivating those leaders. So when they leave high school and they decide not to go to college, they're in the workforce, being incredible people and incredible leaders. They might not be influencers. Not everyone's meant to. Everyone plays a very specific role. But they'll be someone in something very important, and they'll plant seeds. And that's all you have to do, is plant the seed. And then let truth grow from there. But thank you again for the time that you spent with my husband on that final conversation. It meant a lot to him. It means a lot to me to be able to have that to show my babies one day.
Thanks, Rob. Coming up, should women focus on their careers or building their families? We'll ask Erika Kirk what she believes as a mom and
I
now
don't think it
as a
actually goes
CEO.
commercial. I'm sure you'll plant a seed, Julian. Importance of religion.
Welcome back. Erika, Charlie.
Very, not very. Going down. It's not
Welcome
good.
back. Erika, Charlie's last book, it wasn't about politics, it wasn't about policy, it was about the Jewish Sabbath, which he kept for 25 hours starting sundown on Friday night through sundown on Saturday night. What made Charlie so passionate about this subject?
He was on the verge of burnout, and he thought to himself, what can I be doing? And he always loved the 10 Commandments. And then he saw it, honoring the Sabbath. And he realized that if you don't, this one commandment, this one, if you don't honor it, you're the one who misses out on the gift, not God.
Are you keeping it?
I'm trying my best.
Is it helping?
It is. I feel close to him. I break it apart, though. So instead of a full 24 straight, I'll break it apart only because my mom's sick, and I need to be available because I'm her medical power of attorney, so I need to be available if something happens. And so I make it what works for me, but that's what was so beautiful about that. Charlie wasn't legalistic about it. He's like, make it your own.
Erika, you have made a lot of comments that a lot of people have noticed about women, suggesting, you know this,
right?
Suggesting that women should get married young, that they should have children young, that they should prioritize family over their careers. And at the same time, you are now doing both. You now have 2 young children, I think both under the age of 3.
I think her mom was a single mom and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't believe she's, like, never been around a strong woman to do that, so I don't think it's going to be an issue for her.
And you're the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point. Square that for us.
Right.
Some people look at you and say, you know, she's trying to make it a binary choice. You can be the trad wife or the girl boss, but look at her. She's having both. What do you say to them?
Right. Well, I didn't ask for this. Obviously it's a blessing that I view it as a blessing. It's a duty to my husband. But I was very happy being a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong with being a mother. There's actually more beautiful and emotional and powerful job title, if you will, being a mother. And for me, I experienced what it was like living in New York, living that boss babe culture. But when I met Charlie and we had our babies, I was in it. That was all hands on deck. I would take that world in a heartbeat. Always. But you know what? There was never any daylight between Charlie and I, and his mission was my mission. So stepping into this role is not so much a job title. This is not a 9-to-5 for me. This is something that I'm very passionate about because it's still a remaining breathing version of my husband, this Turning Point USA. So this organization is not just a company to me. And the staff and employees are not staff and employees, they're family.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's a lot different and a lot deeper than a career. This is very personal. But yes, it is hard. But at the same day, it takes a village, and I have one heck of a village.
We have a woman here
Don't
that
say that.
has a
Hassan's
question
gonna sit there
perfectly
and use that.
calibrated to this part of our conversation. I want to hand it over.
I'm a little worried about her saying that because Hassan's now going to use that for his argument on socialism and communism. Takes a village. Oh, look, everyone needs to relinquish their kids. But I get it. It takes more than one person, yes.
Over to Isabella Reggi.
Ideally, a mother and a
Thank you.
father.
And Erika, you and your family are in my prayers.
Thank you.
I'm a 26-year-old Christian woman living in New York City. I would like to stay here long term, but I wonder whether it's sustainable. Do you believe there's a place for women like myself in modern cities who care about having a career, but also marrying a like-minded Christian conservative?
No, not in New York City. No. I spent 6 years there. No. It took me moving to Atlanta and outside of Atlanta, like outside of the perimeter, to find a guy and to get married and have a husband. So no. In fact, New York City is kind of like LA. It's known to be like the date. That's all that it is. And I can tell you right now how many times I ran into men who were in freaking relationships or messing around on their woman. Like, it was just disgusting. It was gross. So no, good luck. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can have a great career, but what you gotta do is like establish your career, have that on your resume, then move outside of New York, like Connecticut or New Jersey, or even move down the South, because the South's getting big. Florida, Georgia. Don't move to the left coast. Don't do it. I'm from Portland, Oregon. It is a shithole. Don't do it. But I mean, even like places like Kansas City, Missouri are getting big, stuff like that. So obviously because of Kansas City Chiefs and all that crap, but still. So I mean, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things to do. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, nope. No to the New York one. Nope.
Conservative man.
Well, yeah. So it just depends on where you're looking.
Jesus, how'd that get a little loud?
You know, if you're on the apps, I don't know if you're on the apps. I don't know if.
Oh God, the apps.
I'm not going to ask you your personal journey, but what I will say is, when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years.
Oh, only 5? I got 6 on you, girl. So you got 5 on it, and I got 6. Anyways. I love it, the apps, but ironically, I met my husband on Plenty of Fish, so I want to talk.
I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
Yep.
Somehow
It's
getting
bad.
drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going,
No, and the problem is they'll take you to brunch and they'll get shit-faced. So it doesn't matter. The entire culture in New York City completely and utterly revolves around drinking. It does. That's just how it is. So.
I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study?
Are you
Did you tell
chaste?
your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for?
And I'll say, are you chaste? Because let's be honest, no dude wants a chick who's like been run through. No one. Like, I don't want a guy who's been with like 20 chicks. So, yeah.
For you yourself need to be prepared for that man, and only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls? I'm not saying you sit on your couch and all of a sudden he's going to knock on your door and be like, honey, let's rendezvous. Like, that's not how it happens. It's not. Granted, my situation was a little different. I wouldn't do it.
You went to a job interview.
Literally. So this is how good the Lord is. He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like, I am so sorry. Thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't. But God will work in incredible ways when you surrender the pen for him to write your love story. And when you know that, look, if I remain in the jet stream of God's will, he will provide for me in ways I cannot even imagine. And that is my prayer for you. My prayer for you is to remain open and to remain prayerful and to let people around you know, old school style, I'm ready and I'm looking to get married and having a family. You can always have your career. Being able to have a family truly is a very limited, short window. You can start your career. If you have people and it's amazing business, have other people run it. You can.
No, and that's so true. I met my husband basically offering him a room to rent, get out of a bad relationship, and then come to find out it was my room he was renting. That's how we met and got together. So he just showed up and didn't leave. That was a very weird situation. And I'm actually surprised that I put up with it, because I really don't put up with that. Like, I'm the type of person where it's like, I don't like BS, and if I see any little point of BS, I'm just like, bye. So I have no clue how him and I somehow managed to make it work, but we did. And then she's 100% right on the you can always go have a career later. Because my husband and I met when I was 30. And almost 7 years at this point. And we've been trying really, really hard to have a kid. And it's just not sticking. I have thyroid issues, which obviously affects that. And I have a autoimmune thyroid disease situation. So it doesn't make it very easy, obviously. But I at least have a stepson, even though he's now an adult, because he's 18. And my husband, I'm 36, and my husband's 40, so it's not some crazy number. But sorry, he's 41. But yeah, no, she's right though. She's 100% right. And honestly, if my husband and I don't have a kid in probably 2 or 3 years, then I'm probably just shit out of luck, which sucks. Because I'd really like to have my own kid. I'm not saying that I don't love my stepson. He lives with us. But it's just something about being able to have your own kid. Not to mention I came in my stepson's life when he was 12. So personally, I think it kind of sucks because I kind of miss the fun years. The years where he was playing with Legos and not obsessed with video games. And then he went from video games to being obsessed with cutting up wood and building stuff. So I miss the fun years, or at least the fun years where I could get along. He's now in the fun years where him and his dad are having fun. But yeah.
Don't manage it. You can still pour into it, but you have your babies. And then once your babies are grown and the nest is empty, go back to your career. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have a career, you have your babies, the Lord's going to inspire something inside of you that you're like, you know what? There's a problem. I have a solution. How many baby companies have been born out of moms? You know, like the little carrier seat or
Mommy
a
and Me.
stroller or
We live for that carrier.
There was literally a business called
100%.
Mommy and
I'm not
Me
trying
that
to
was
plug them
created
for like
by
something,
a
so I'm just trying
mom.
not to even say the name. But you understand my sentiment is that there's something really special and beautiful about making sure that you are the woman that your future husband deserves and vice versa. Do not settle.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isabella. Up next, the emotional.
Isabella went heavy on the blush. And I'm getting red. It's getting warm in here. I need to turn off the heat. Looks like there's a little bit left.
Moment that Erika Kirk forgave her husband's alleged murderer. Stay with us.
I'm gonna turn off the heat.
I forgive him.
I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would
73.
do.
Erika, that moment that we just watched was unforgettable. I was one of millions of people across the world that watched you get up on that stage and forgive the man who murdered your husband. And I think a lot of people looked at it and thought, this is incomprehensible. It's almost baffling. And I want you to speak to those who are unable to understand, really, that act of grace. How is it possible that you can forgive the person that murdered your husband?
I'm not forgetting what he did. I'm not condoning what he did. What he did is sick and evil. So sick and evil.
You're never going to forget.
What I am doing is releasing myself from the enemy's hands where he could have a foothold in me and he could be able to just, like I said earlier, you have a choice. Am I going to take that moment? And I will never say anything I don't mean. I really prayed on that moment. That was a game time decision. I'll never say what I don't mean. But am I going to take that moment to say, rally the troops, burn the city down, march in the streets? Or am I going to take that moment and unleash something like we talked about, even greater, more powerful, and say, it's a revival? And let that unleash and let the Lord use it in ways that no one else could have ever imagined.
If you were to meet the man, I won't name him again, accused of murdering your husband, do you know what you would say to him?
Nothing.
You would say nothing.
I have nothing to say to you. Nothing.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
I want to bring in our final audience question for tonight. I want to turn it over to Joe Lavoie.
Hi, thank you. Your faith in this process has been inspiring, and that inspires this question. How are you able to trust God amidst unfair and immense suffering?
One of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Job.
Yep.
And what's so powerful about that book is that you read it and you
his
go
kids,
along and you say,
he
how
lost his
could
job, lost his house,
bad
lost
things
everything,
happen to good people?
and he never lost his faith.
But what happens at the end of that book?
He never lost his faith.
God does restore. He does. Even more so than Job had prior. But when did that happen? It happened when Job prayed for his friends. Even though they were against him, even though there was all this drama, He prayed for his friends. You can call them enemies. That's not saying, oh, Lord, my enemies, no. There's boldness in being able to say, Lord, do what only you can do. And the Lord restored what Job had lost. That's how.
We'll be right back. I want to thank Erika Kirk so much for joining me tonight. And I also want to thank our audience for participating in this town hall. CBS News is going to have many more conversations like this in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned. More town halls, more debates, more talking about the things that matter. I'm Barry Weiss here in New York. Good night.
Oh, at the age of 28, Candace Owens was fiscally irresponsible. That she rented a $3,500 apartment, lived there for 6 months rent-free, then claimed she had gotten toxic mold sickness and threatened to sue her landlord to avoid paying rent. Legal documents to prove. Complaints. Candace Owens versus Harbor Point Holding Company. On or before August 7th, 2016, the defendant Owens maintained, possessed, and or controlled the resident property at all relevant times. Defendant leased said premises to the plaintiff for her use of personal residence at Stamford. Stamford, Connecticut? What kind of an apartment was $3,500 in Stamford, Connecticut? Like, I saw amazing 1-bedrooms, even 2-bedrooms, for less than $3,000 in Queens. And this was before 2016. I mean, this was 2014, 2015. But yeah, so complainant. Monetary damages. So she was trying to go for at least $15,000 worth of damages, on top of the fact that she lived rent-free for 6 months. What a horrible human being. Yeah, apparently she claimed that there's an inability to think clearly because of it. So, just an FYI to all people who want to know, Candace Owens was one of the founders and creators of Blexit, which is the black exit from the Democrat Party. And I just want to show here that mid-March of 2023, she, well, not she, but that organization actually merged with Turning Point USA. And I guess they kicked her out of it. So, here's the tax filings of Blexit Foundation up until 2023. Let's go through them, shall we? All right, 2019. One of the first years, I believe. Well, I don't know. I'm guessing it's one of the first years. But anyways, I mean, no one, I guess, took a salary. Net funding, -30. Great. You know, net assets, 700,000. Net income. I mean, you're doing good. Doing good. Total assets, net assets. I mean, you're doing good. It went up. Expenses. Net income, though. And your net assets. So, I mean, oh yeah, because you have to count your expenses even though they came out. See where it shows. Candace Owens, 230,000 that year from just Blexit. Yeah, next year. Program services, investment, $126. Good investing. Great. Look at that. Net income, because expenses were more than the income in 2021. If that's your revenue, like really? And I want to look at this. Why is there a $31,000 liability? What's that one about? But hey, Candace was able to pay herself, $250,000 now. 2022. Net income, negative 1.7. Expenses, 4.6. Net assets, 1.2. The net assets seem to be going down. Why is it going down? It's like 700,000. And then it's like 1.5. Like, what is happening here? But she still gets paid the same. Brandon Tatum made 36,000. There you go, 26,000 and then 36,000. Brandon Tatum still made money. I don't know who this is. Developer and director, whatever. Melissa Nunes. And then there's no one here because this is 2023. Revenue was this in 3 months. That was your expenses. That was your net income. Like, how is it that your assets went to zero? That's pretty damn bad. So I just kind of want to bring up that, like, it goes from your revenue. I mean, it looks like more, but your expenses, your net income. So what's messed up here is this is supposed to be in the positive. That means your business made money. It's not in the positive. And here's the merger. In mid-March, this is the merger, by the way, which I believe that would mean that they're only really filing for like 3.5 months. Negative? Really? Zero assets. I mean, you're probably pulling from your assets at that point, dude. It's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, it's pretty bad, dude. Total assets. Total revenue. Total liabilities. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. But, Candace isn't hard up for money, is she? No, she's not hard for money. She couldn't be going after Erika because she needs money. Right? Inside the economics of Candace Owens' media empire and the Macron lawsuit threatening to unravel it. Doesn't need money, right? Oh. Wait, when was this? Oh. 2 days ago. Pray or face me in court. Candace Owens slaps Erika Kirk and network with $80 million lawsuit after on-air ambush. And so-called on-air ambush was her going on, plugging her husband's book, and telling Candace to stop. And then when she did the town hall, which you guys watched, she called the stuff that Candace was saying unhinged. She never said that Candace herself was unhinged. In fact, she never even said Candace's name. So Candace ain't gonna win that. Nope. But yeah. She's not hard up for money, right? She's only making, $110 to $200 million. Or sorry, she's only making like $20 million every year or some shit from what she's peddling now. She's making $10,000 to $110,000 a month off of these conspiracies. And I believe I even read that she was making anywhere from $10,000 to like $50,000 or even up to $100,000 for every commercial she read off. So it's obviously like money, 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 money. Gimme, 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 gimme. That's all this bitch ever does. And yet you got a fucking widow here, obviously crying, upset, wants her to stop. She fucking won't. But I mean, we all know why, because if you sit there and go back to looking at Blexit, I mean, you're looking pretty bad, dude. Negative income, negative net income, negative net income. I mean, you're pulling from your assets. And your assets went to zero. So, this bitch has to be hemorrhaging money. Hemorrhaging money. But yeah, I guarantee she's hemorrhaging money. I guarantee that's why she's going after Erika. She wants money. Money, money, money. Not just that, she wanted to fuck Charlie Kirk, but that's another story.
Dressed up in a suit and clean.